Welcome to this edition of Tea Journey with Ashish and Soham. Today we're going to be drinking the 2005 Liu Bao, which we call Forest Spirit. And this tea is special to me because it's actually been a primary tea I've been drinking for a couple years, and as such, I really enjoy it. So we'll just pot it up and see where things go. So just give you a little look at the leaves here.
Oh,
Very nice.
filled it up.
You're using, yeah, that's nice. Nice close up there. So give it a little rinse. So what do we know about this tea factually, like where it comes from and all that?
It is made, it's from a Hong Kong company. Which the name of the company roughly translates to 4 gold coin.
Hmm.
And whoa, that was amazing. And I'll have to double check the name of that. A little more. It's from 2005. It is, I think it, because it's from this producer, which I'll have to get the name of. It has a certain type of process that's a little bit different than the traditional Liu Bao processing, which I think is why we've noticed that it's so durable and it re-steeps a lot, multiple, like over 10 infusions.
Right.
And
Great for grandpa style tea.
Yeah.
Thermos tea.
Oh yes, Si Jin Quan, 4 gold coins. It's a brand of Liu Bao that has been ordered and packaged by a Hong Kong trading company of the same name since the late Qing dynasty, so Guangxu period. So they've been around for a while. The base material is a blend of Guangxi material with neighboring border leaves and has the feel of old tree teas.
Yep.
It has apparently this taste that we notice with this tea is like a unique signature of the Si Jin Quan, and which is we've seen that's different than the major kind of Liu Bao.
And it's, like just drinking this first steeping, it has this kind of wet, there's this scent that I get like a rock, a wet rock in the sun. Like as the steam comes off the rock, there's this scent that it kind of smells like when that happens. And that's like this first steeping, like the taste that I get. And it's a taste that I notice in like older show pours, like an 80s show pour or something like that, which is one of the things that I think the reason why I drink this tea so much over the last 2 years is because it offers a profile of a really nice aged show pour, but from a price standpoint, it's much more affordable because you can't, as a daily drinker, you can't, I personally can't drink 80 show pour every day. I can't afford to do that. But this tea gives you that nice profile, but being a fraction of the cost of an 80s. show pour. It's just one of the reasons that I like it personally.
Yeah, I think that just the overall quality of this tea, the way it's processed, the leaf material, um, and then the aging, the Malaysian storage, uh, it has yeah, like you're saying, it has a really nice aged character in the nose, like a very pleasant, like um, there's a term for it, like the aged taste, and it's called, I think it's, I don't want to mispronounce it, but it means aged taste, like Shen Xiang or something like that. And I'd have to look it up again, and I apologize for, apologies for any mispronunciations and mistakes there. But it literally translates to aged taste, and you'll find it in like cakes, like poor cakes are named after this quality, aged taste, and that comes through this tea, and in the aroma. It's a very fresh aroma. Like, people will describe tea as clean. Oh, there's a clean. But okay, when you look at the leaf, you're like, okay, this leaf looks like aged. It looks earthy. It definitely has.
It has character to it.
It has character to it. It definitely has the beneficial aged quality. Like you see, like there's a kind of like not like a. It's almost like it has a sheen to it, like a glaze of agedness, like white,
Yeah.
like those little
Microbial.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
You
when
can
you
see
look at
this
it,
nicely in the close-up picture on
yeah.
the shot, but I mean, it's not really enough detail here, but
No, yeah, your camera doesn't always want to focus, like it needs some time.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically trained to focus on my face. So, but
But
so
yeah.
you're drinking out of a 60 milliliter pot. I'm drinking out of a 50 milliliter pot, and I think I'm probably about 90% full with leaf right now. Are you kind of same?
Um these leaves still have room to open up, but I'm
Yeah.
probably at about
I probably put
75%.
I probably put too much leaf in as
Yeah.
usual, but so I'm getting a super dark brew like right off, you know.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. But the thing is, folks, you can do that with this tea, and it's very pleasant. Like I could see how, like, say if you knew that you had a lot to do in a day, or at the end of the day, you're like, oh man, I had a day. This is the
Mhm.
kind of tea that you could have every day, but like on some days that are like, it's been a day, you can put more leaf in it, and it'll
Right.
give you a little bit more. It doesn't really have a ceiling, and what I mean by that is like you can keep drinking the tea. Like you could re-steep it again. Some teas like they max out, like you're done, like it just stops. This tea kind of just keeps going. Honestly, energetically too, it does, but not in an unpleasant way. Like you could have a lot of this tea and
It's
still
a
be
very
like,
grounding tea.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it has a little bit of a kick to it in a very like a
Yeah.
motivational, like it has a nice little kick. It has a slight little fire to it. Um,
Yeah.
that's
I'm
enough.
drinking, by the way, I'm drinking this way too fast.
Really, what
Just
steeping
had
are
to
you
hold
on?
myself back. This was my third steeping,
Oh yeah,
but
I'm just doing my second. I'm
yeah.
going like
So
super
I will
hot
wait.
and slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Small vessels, piping hot and slow.
Yeah. I think part of it is because I just drank a Sheng Pu'er before this, a 2018 Sheng. So I'm already kind of like operating at a
Oh,
little bit of a higher RPM.
which one did you have?
Uh, I think it was
Piercing the illusion?
something, piercing the illusion.
That's
Yeah.
what I had today. I had that this morning as well.
It's good. It's actually for, I don't want to get off topic, but
Hmm.
for a young Sheng, it actually was not. I was surprised by how gentle it was,
Yeah,
for being
yeah.
that young.
It'll put you in a vortex though. I drank that tea and
Yeah.
I was like just good. and I continued to be good. But then I went out into the world. I went on an errand, and I was like, wow, I'm
Yeah.
definitely in like a dreamy reality right now.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah, back to this tea.
relating to this tea, I think that this is like an antidote for that. Like it's bringing me back.
Yeah.
It's helping to kind of integrate that back closer into, which, this is a whole nother topic, drinking teas in succession, pairing teas together in a ceremony, but this tea, or in this profile of tea really, is very well used with other teas. Like if you're gonna drink a tea that's gonna bring you out,
Yeah.
I find that, like, I mix this tea a lot with red teas, and I find that the energetic aura that they bring together is really nice, because the red tea, or a tea that kind of like comes out and up, this brings down, but it's not, it's kind of cohesive. So you just end up with this really nice kind of egg, this aura egg, which gives you energy to do stuff, but also keeps you grounded. So, I mean, we should really, I love that topic of mixing teas and how they work together. But
this is a mixable tea.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Totally. And on that note, like, how a lot of red teas, like a good, like Dion Hong, like a good red tea has like a kind of dry character to it, because it has that green, a lot of times, unless you're getting like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 year aged, like red tea, like there's going to be a green quality coming through because it's a younger tea. And unless it's super heavily roasted, which I think a lot of like Yunanese red teas especially tend to not be super roasted because they're using the same material that they would be using for shengpo. So they're just kind of like bringing out like the more oxidization in the tea so it can be drunk now and bring out some of the floral notes and all of that. But there's a dryness that I experience in the mouthfeel in the back end that is similar to with this tea, where this tea is smooth, but it definitely has a lingering, it lingers on the palate in a kind of, I feel that this tea has a nice drying component where I could see how especially in the fall and winter, in the colder months, when you're eating heavier foods and, and you need that warming, but you have like, say, some of that cold dampness, this tea would just cure that. Like, I mean, cure is the word I would use very softly, but it would definitely help with that situation.
Yeah. And the brew is really clean and clear, which is great. Good to note.
It's like a burgundy color. Bubble. I don't know if you could see from here. Nope.
Coming out of the spout.
Oh, it just popped. It'll be on the video.
Nice.
So I think this is only my 3rd steeping.
Yeah, I'm trying to wait.
Well, do what you need to do, you know what I mean? Okay, so I definitely noticed that every time I have this tea, and you were speaking to it before, like that aged smell, the 80s kind of vibe, which is a very specific smell. I mean, my partner Melissa always talks about like the specific 80s tea smell, and this tea definitely has it. And you know it when you have it. Any of you guys like that have had this like kind of 80s tea smell, in taste, you know what I'm talking about. But this aroma also has like a piney aroma, like in tea, like it's processed traditionally using pine smoke, but this definitely smells like a fresh pine. I describe it as like a mossy smell. Like there is that wet, like that wet, soft, like super green Pacific Northwest kind of rainforesty, neon green kind of. Forest Spirit's the perfect name for it because it literally reminds me of the forest spirit in Princess Mononoke, or like forested Japanese like forest landscape, which I'm sure, like, I've never been to Guangxi, which is where Liu Bao comes from. but I've heard that there's like tall, like kind of thin pine trees that grow in the
Mm.
area, and it would be really cool to experience the actual climate, like the area where this tea grows, because I'm very resonant with it, and so are you. So I bet we'd be resonant with the climate.
Oh yeah. I'm noticing now too, like my muscles relaxing on their own, kind of like there's a energetic aspect where it's because I was sweating for a bit. Like I'm not sweating now, but for like a couple steepings, I was definitely sweating. And now like there's just like a general kind of relaxation quality happening.
Mm. Oh yeah. Well, I'm feeling that. I think I'm still at the sweating stage.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely removing or helping release excess heat.
Hmm.
I'm feeling.
So what else can we say about this tea? Well, I think, with that relaxing, the physical relaxation quality also comes with a stillness, the mental stillness as well. So like generally just a
Yeah.
quieting, like kind of like the difference between like a fan being on in the room and then you turn the fan off, and that sense of quiet that happens once that noise has stopped.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that
Your fan's going right now.
no, except for the fact that Osa's whining.
Oh, okay. I can only hear it a little bit. It's okay. Our power went off for like 10, 15 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
but we didn't notice it go off until we were like, wait, it's really quiet. And then it came back on. We're like, oh yeah, that was
Yeah, yeah. All right, you need, which steeping is that for you? Is that 3?
4.
Okay, 4. So, because this steeping, I think, is 5 for me, but it dramatically shifts at this point. So, for me, there's the earlier steepings. Just usually with teas, they might have a little bite, a certain
Yeah.
bite to them in the earlier steepings, and then around this time, it gets integrated and rounds out. So there's a smoother quality that's
It
present
just
for me.
happened for
And
this one
oh, it did.
for
Okay.
me. Maybe because of just the way I'm brewing it, but just like super hot and
Yeah.
like pouring water over top of the pot as well.
Uh-huh.
And the like the oils have come out more, I feel, in my it's less dry now, and it's like more like a pleasant, nourishing, mellow lubrication happening in my mouth, and also like internally I'm starting to feel that more. And I'm simultaneously noticing that this tea has like a pleasant pepperiness to it.
Mm.
Like I'm
Yeah.
feeling what I'm speaking to, like that lingering kind of sensation in the mouth, slightly cooling on the in breath, just slightly. But it's also like almost like a pepper, not necessarily a
Mm.
black pepper, but I've talked about this before, but like a white pepper,
White pepper. Yeah.
like a more subtle pepper than black pepper,
Mm-hmm.
but almost like a powdered quality where it's like such fine particles. So where it's smooth, but it's like a smooth, just slight like space dust or something, space force dust. That's what I'll say.
Space Force. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Space Forest spirit.
Yeah, like the
Space Forest spirit.
spores, the etheric cosmic spores of the forest spirit.
Nice.
I feel like it does have like like the fungus is strong with this one, like the way that it
Yeah.
activates. It
But not in a
definitely,
flavor way, in a
no,
sensual way, like in
yeah,
how
yeah,
it feels in the body. But
exactly.
it's not so prevalent from a taste perspective, because we've definitely
Yeah,
drank some puers that
yeah,
you taste the mushroom, like
yeah, for
which
sure.
is nice too, but this is not that tea.
this is more the taste of upon which the mushrooms grow, like a birch tree, or like a, I
Hmm.
guess, pine trees. I mean, it definitely
Hmm.
has more of a tree bark kind of quality than a mushroom.
Yeah.
It's not fleshy like that. It's like more wood. There's a wooded character, like, and you were saying that there's that wet. It's like simultaneously wet. It's a good balance of wet and dry, um,
Hmm.
for me.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
because, like,
Yeah,
for instance,
it definitely doesn't dry out my mouth. You know, it
no,
doesn't have that astringent aspects.
because you know how there are some show pours, like, for instance, rain butter from West China tea. It's drier.
Hmm.
That's a drier tea for me. Um,
Yeah.
it's amazing, and it's
Yeah.
smooth, but it's drier than this tea. This tea gives me like, some precipitation, like
Hmm.
actual, like, like you're in the desert, so it's nice for you to have that like petrichor type of like rain, like teas that kind of evoke that like a misty quality, or a hydrate, like a hydration, you
Hmm.
know. And I feel it with this tea too, because in hot weather, it's just like I need a little bit of this like
Yeah.
rain. So what do you think about the way it looks? Like the actual,
Well,
like after you like wake it up, like the actual leaf.
it's just like really uh, mellow and comforting to me is what comes, because it's just like this really, especially this steeping, like, as I kind of have here, like these are like kind of every two steepings. Like, it's hard to see in the video, but it's still holding its color really well. Like, the difference between these steepings from the second steeping to now like the sixth steeping, it's not like, because there are show pours that you can, and Liu Baos that you can drink where there's very dramatically, like at this point in the sixth steeping, it'd already be a very
Yeah,
a light amber, because it's losing its quality. And this is what you were talking to in the beginning. That's one of the reasons I love this tea too, is just durability. So it's I really like this dark, kind of this light dark color, because uh, it's not too dark. It's not like,
yeah,
because
yeah,
dark and syrupy, like I like
yeah,
those kind
yeah,
of teas too, but that's like, it's work. It's not a daily drinking tea for me, if a tea is like that. Like, the
exactly.
reason I like drinking this so frequently is because it has that it has that weight to it, that grounding aspect, but at the same time it's light and approachable, you know and it has a
Yep,
brightness in the color.
yep,
It's amber, I would say. Like, it has this yellowish
yep.
brown, and
Mhm.
super clear. Just very clean.
Yeah, you could see that it's clear in the in the
Hmm.
in the actual brew, the liquid. Because some teas are murky,
Right.
like where it's like slightly cloudy.
We don't
Obviously,
drink those teas.
we don't drink those, but
Yeah.
but when you see, but it's just like what you were saying before. It's like clearly this tea has a clarity and a lightness to it, like just which some teas
Right.
just don't necessarily have that kind of like
Right. And
clarity.
even there's an energetic clarity too, because like some teas that have a clear brew don't necessarily have a like a brightness to them
Yeah,
energetically.
yeah.
They're still good, but this has both like the visible clarity, but it also has like has an energetic clarity to it as well.
It has a slight sparkle, I would say.
Yeah.
I'd say there's
It's
a
a
slight
sparkly.
sparkliness, and I'm seeing here, I'm on steeping 6, I think, and the
Hmm.
oils on the top are just swirling, like they're very it's a very vigorous tea. Like it has a lot
Yeah.
of goodness in it. Um,
Hmm. It's very good.
it's very reliable. Uh, I feel like my sessions are consistent.
Versatile.
Yeah, There's a
Yeah.
consistency to it. Still being versatile though. This would definitely be like a tea to take with you traveling.
Yeah.
Because it would definitely balance you out. It would definitely help with jet lag.
Well, what I would do is I would do grandpa style if I'm going on a road trip. I basically like, and what I'll do is if I'm doing grandpa style with this tea, like I'll definitely load up the leaf. I'll probably use like in a thermos of like this size, I'll probably use like 6 grams, and I'll do a rinse on the leaf,
Yeah.
just a quick rinse, and then I'll fill the whole thing with boiling hot water, and then it just sits. Um, and if I'm driving, I'll actually like plan a little bit ahead, let it steep for like 20 minutes, and then filter out the leaf. Because if I'm driving and nobody's with me, like obviously it's dangerous to try
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
have like a
Yeah.
filter and sift
Yeah.
out the leaf. But yeah, it's a great tea to drive to have while you're driving and early morning if you need a little bit of energy.
And a highly satisfying tea when you use more leaf.
Yes.
Because that is a true journey level right there. Having 6
Mhm.
grams in a thermos,
It's great.
it's great.
Yeah. And that's
That's
one of
like,
the versatile aspects of it is like it's a different tea depending on how much leaf you use.
oh yeah,
Hmm.
undeniably so.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I think,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, I'm just noticing this sweet aftertaste in my mouth starting to kind of come through.
Yeah.
In this last steeping, and the smell of it, of the actual the steeped leaves, there's a caramelized quality coming through, and it's subtle. Um, and this tea, it's not a small leaf tea. It's definitely more
Mhm.
medium in the grade of leaf. There's some larger leaves in there, and there's like stems in there, which
Yeah.
I really dig the amount of stems that are in this tea, because I think that also contributes to like the emboldening and grounding quality of the tea. And
Yeah.
the stems tend to impart a certain type of flavor that I prefer,
Yeah.
especially when they're aged, uh, because they're sturdy stems, but they've definitely like been impacted by the aging in a very positive way. And yeah, my tea's still pouring dark. I'm doing like each steeping, I'm increasing the time,
Hmm.
uh, probably by like 10 seconds. Like I'm kind of now in this like,
Yep.
and that seems to really, it's like each steeping is like the same color for at least 10
Mhm.
steepings
Yeah.
that way, I've noticed.
Well, I think, I think that's enough on this tea, right? I mean, is there any final thoughts that we want to share on it?
Let's just each do a kind of like give a summary of like our overall kind of feeling about the tea.
Hmm.
At
I feel
least
like I kind
this
of
time
already did
around.
mine.
Yeah,
I feel like when I
you
was
kind of
talking
did.
about, yeah. I mean, like, the summary is that in addition to for me, it's a daily drinking tea because of its affordability, because of its versatility, its satisfying character, its um, durability. Like you can brew it for long periods of time. You can easily drink this tea and do a meditation practice at the same time.
Yeah,
You can easily drink this tea and do some work. So that's part of the versatile aspect of it. So with all those things combined, that's why I've literally drank through 2 kilos of this tea in a couple of years, because it has all those qualities. Like, and I reach for it just naturally that often.
yeah. I mean, I feel the same way. Like I echo everything that you just said. If I were to think about how to add to it, I feel like along with it being satisfying, durable, affordable,
Mhm.
versatile, is it's also magical. Like I
Yeah.
feel like, and by that I mean, there pretty much all the teas that even my daily drinkers, I want there to be some kind of like uplifting quality. That's what I could include in my description of satisfying, because everyone's way of being satisfied is like slightly different. But I think that we can all agree, like when we find a tea that satisfies, we know it. And this is a tea that does that. And I think for me, it being grounding is like part of like what I actually feel is magical. I notice like it's not just feeling like, oh, I'm inspired and I'm kind of in this euphoric state. It's like actually feeling grounded is like is a quality that I search for in tea, and part of that is a calming quality. And this tea definitely has that as well. Um, and that's what I would add to
Yeah.
like all of the other things that we said.
Good points. All right. Well, this has been a short and quick introduction to Forest Spirit 2005 Liu Bao. So if this resonates with you, you know what to do.